Hi, welcome to Rossi Audio again. This video is going to be about the biggest downfall in audio history ever. I mean, this is the brand that has taken the biggest fall from being a premier supplier of hi-fi, pro audio, sound solution systems, whatever. They were a pinnacle for years. They came out of some of the best of the best. They stayed on among the top for decades. And today, this brand is nothing. It has crumbled. And it started many years ago and gradually became worse and worse and worse. Many brands have gone through the same turbulence, the same outcome, the same problems as this brand, and many brands just died off and went away, and no one has heard about them ever since. We can name a lot of brands that have taken a downfall and had a rocky past. Been a glory brand and all of a sudden just poof, become nothing. We have seen brands like Wharfdale gone through shitty times. They were once really good. They became something that was licensed out to several manufacturers, in fact, and suffered from that. Tried to do a comeback and did some good models, but really didn't get back into what they were in the glory days. The same with Jensen Hi-Fi. I mean, the 80s just late 70s and 80s just killed Jensen as a brand. Face Linear is the same. They just poof. They had good stuff and all of a sudden they got bought up by Jensen in the 80s. And Jensen was then owned by another parent company who kind of like did the same thing to Face Linear as they did to Jensen. They managed to destroy two good brands. Bosac was good, and then all of a sudden, poof, gone. We have seen it with other brands lately. Sir and Vega was sold in 2003 and became an ownership of Stanton, who started the downfall, and now owned by Gibson, who hasn't done much to revitalize the brand or do anything for the brand in the right direction. So there is a lot of brands that was big back in the day, and they were good. And I only touched a few of them. There's way more, many more. But this one particular brand that I'm talking about has taken the absolute biggest downfall of them all. And if you haven't guessed it, yes, we're talking about these guys back here, the Altec. Altec and Altec Lansing really has been the audio history's biggest downfall of all times, of any brands, of any era. It doesn't matter what you look at or anything like that. Altec went from being on the one of the actors to be on the top, and one of the pinnacle suppliers, and one of the best in the business for years, decades. And now, today, it is such a shame when you go into their website and look it up and see what they are offering. Later in this video, I'm going to go and do some video of their website. I'm going to show you. It is really sad, and it's a shame that a brand like Altec has fallen to where they are today. And even worse is that the company who now owns Altec can't even seem to get their history straight. I mean, Doesn't that tell you something? When they can't get the history right on their website, a lot of places, they have put it in writing that they don't know their own history. That tells you what these companies have done to several brands and several companies in the past. I really expect that when Samsung now has taken over Harman Group, Harman Group did a lot of bad stuff to JBL and other brands, Crown and many others. But I expect that Samsung now, now that they're taking over Harman Group and among them JBL, will continue the downfall. It's how the mentality of these companies are. They are not in it for the same reasons, the same vision as the original ones. It is a totally different mindset on products and what they want to release onto the market for you and me to buy. So with that in mind, I expect a lot of the big brands that has been able to survive the slaughter of the 80s and the further slaughter of the 90s, that survived those 2 decades without compromising on quality and product vision and customer relations. Now under new ownership, now in the 2000s, I think we will see a downfall of a lot of brands, but that will give way for new brands. But still, it is sad because so much of the history over the last 40, 50, 60, 70 years is just being washed out into nothing. So what really happened to Altec? Well, Altec there's many reasons for this. There's market strategy reasons, money talks, people want to sell because they want the money instead of keep going on, and people are buying it because, oh yeah, they have a good name, but our vision is different than what it was, so we're going to make this, and it doesn't work. For some reason it doesn't work, and then it falls apart, and someone else comes and picks up the pieces, and they buy a name, and that's all it is. They buy a name, and that's what's hurting all these brands. They are being bought up because of their name, and the name is being used on products that has nothing or very little at best to do with what the original business model or the original business philosophy was. So what happened to Altec, and what is Altec today? Well, Altec suffered from several things, big things, but most of all they suffered from bad decisions from a lot of people. Today, Altec is supplying the market with 1-inch speakers to computers and laptops. They're supplying the market with laptop speakers in plastic cabinets. They're supplying the market with smartphones and cell phones. They are supplying the market with tiny, bitty, little tiny speakers that you hook up to your cell phone, iPod, MP3 players, computers. It's just so far away from what Altec once was. So Altec today is not Altec or Altec Lansing. They're using the name Altec Lansing today, but it has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with the old Altec. It's another typical company who do shelf shopping in China, as I call it and the way I see it. Very little R&D, very little, if they at all manufacture anything in their own plant, which I doubt. So we have the China syndrome, we have the totally different mindset syndrome, and all of this is just killing brands that used to be good. has it only happened to speakers? No. It has happened to what I call hardware or gear, like amplifiers and receivers and all that kind of stuff. Brands are being bought up, the quality is being slaughtered, the user friendliness is being slaughtered, and what you used to get is no longer what you're getting. So it's not only speakers, guys. It's all over the place. That's why it's so important for us collectors to take care of the history that once was and preserve it the best way we can, and in fact display it as often as we can. And Facebook has become a real platform for that. YouTube has become a perfect platform for it, for in video form. So by creating these communities, we can keep the old Altecs alive. We can keep the old Jensens alive, the old JBLs, the old Sarin Vegas, the old Bosacs, the Wharfdales, the Electro Voice, all these old brands that once was so great. Electro Voice is still making good PA or Pro audio, but they're not making any hi-fi anymore, which is sad. The only brand that has somewhat survived and still going on is Klipsch. And they're still doing a good job in doing what they've been doing for the last 60, 70, maybe 80 years. So I take my hat off for Klipsch for managing to do that. And they're not far away from me. They're in Hope, Arkansas, and I'm in Memphis. So they're doing good. I wish more brands could go back and kind of like revitalize their roots and their original vision and start building good stuff again. But it's too much to ask. Altec is never, ever in the history again gonna make hi-fi speakers like they did. I don't have any big Altecs here now. I sold all the 8 pairs that I had of the big Altecs. I only have one small pair left, the 886A. But it is a tragedy. The audio business, the last 30, 35, 40 years, has really gone through huge changes. And not because of us, the customer, it's because of the new owners and new philosophy and how they look at things. And they just trash things when they go through it. It's like the only thing they care about is trends and bottom lines. That's all they care about. So I say let's teach this dot dot beep 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 a lesson and stop buying their products. Buy vintage, buy used. Let us stop buying these shitty freaking beep 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 products that they're putting out, and that will in the end will hurt them in the pocketbook, and it will hurt them. And maybe someone can come in after them and pick up the pieces and go like, that's what we did 60 years ago. We want to do something like that, but in a modern form. But we're going to go back to that quality. We're going to go back to that philosophy. We're going to make those type of products. And we can supplement with trendy products. I have no problems with that. I have no problem if Altec wants to make trendy products, as long as they go and find a way to make what they once did. There must be a way to do that. Hi-Fi is far from dead. All these Facebook groups tells the story. It shows that Hi-Fi is not dead. Yes, stores are closing down and all this stuff, because the most of the retail business is doomed, because most of the business is being done online anyway. And a lot of companies are selling directly from the manufacturer to the customer. But somehow, some of these CEOs and CFOs and all these people who know nothing about anything about what they're doing, have no clue. They're just sitting there rolling their thumbs and going like, the bottom line looks good today. So let's teach these beep, 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 beep companies a lesson and stop buying their products. Let's force them to start thinking differently. And the message should be, go back and look at your history and go back and look at the philosophy that it once was that made this company so great. Maybe if you go back and do something and you tweak it a little bit and make it into a modern thing, maybe your sales will go up. You know, who wouldn't mind being able to go to a store or a website or wherever you want to go and buy a pair of high quality Altec Lansing speakers again? That sounds good. That is the new pinnacle. Who wouldn't love that? I know every Altec fan out there in the world, which probably is in the 100,000s range, would love it. And probably would, a good percentage of those would probably buy a pair or two. Who knows? And it doesn't go only for Altec, it goes for Jensen, it goes for Face Linear, Carver, Southern Vega, JBL, Wharfdale, Bosac, even smaller companies like Audio Analyst. You know, where is the passion? The audio business have lost its passion. But the biggest downfall of them all, no doubt, is Altec and Altec Lansing. Let me show you their website. So here we have the Altec Lansing website. And right off the bat, I mean, it is such a sad thing. Let me show you something. They missed their history totally. This is an owner who's supposed to know their history, right? Well, here we have like listed years. Like it goes back from 1927 up here, and then 36, 41, 43, 45, 48 and 49, 52, 58, 63, 68, 73, 84, 86, 1990, 92, 95, 2003, 2004, 2005, 2008 and 2013, okay? And they list these as very important things in their history. Here's the problem. 1994 is not listed here. Why is that important to have? Why should they have 1994 listed on here? Well, in 1994, Altec and Altec Lansing as it was called back then and today, they were the main supplier of pro audio, PA systems, communication systems to the Olympics in Lillehammer, Norway. You don't think that would be a huge thing to incorporate into your history, your bragging of your history? But they didn't. But they still have the Altec Lansing as the official speaker system provider for the 1984 Winter Olympics in Sarajevo, in Yugoslavia. But they don't have it when they were doing the Olympics 10 years later in Lillehammer, Norway, which was a way bigger event than the 1984 Olympics. So that tells you what the mommy company's doing and how much they're thinking about their own history. They couldn't care less. Well, let's look at the products. Accessories. Wow. USB cable, power cards, cell phone cases for iPhone 6. You want a purple case for your iPhone 6? Oy, oy, oy. They have some portable radios for 28 bucks. Headphones. They must have some really good headphones. Nah. $14, $29, $49, $149, $59. Looks just like any other out of China that I have seen. Nothing different. I have seen a brand called Gem Sound, who is a very, very entry-level brand, have the same layout and same looks as these, except for the name on this round thing here. They look exactly the same. Let's go to indoor speakers. Maybe they have some there. No. Just some small speakers, 2-inch in diameter. Hook up to your MP3 or your cell phone. Outdoor speaker or mobile solutions, maybe that. No. Smartphones. Let's go outdoor speakers. Same crap there. Just some small speakers you hook up to your phone or use as a docking station or whatever. This is sad. And then of course they have PC accessories. Hard drives, of course. Let's look at tablets. Oh, they have some 8-inch and 10.1-inch tablets. And I bet you that these are not even made by Altec Lansing themselves. This is just OEM suppliers that have slapped the name Altec Lansing on it, and that's it. So this is what it has come down to, guys. This is so sad. Support. Let's see what they offer on support. What makes Altec different? Well, let's see. Altec brings out the best in every listening experience. From the wireless system that take you where you go, to headphones that make music even more personal. It's what we have been doing since 1927. Give me a freaking break! Contact. Let's see what they have listed there. Yeah, they have a phone number. They have an email address. They have a contact form that you can fill out. The biggest downfall in audio history, and you are looking at it right here. The Altec Lansing. You know, this is just the saddest thing. And they can't even get their history straight. You know, they can't get the facts of the history. That, to me, just tells you that this company have no clue of what they're doing. I mean, they can't even get their history straight and the facts straight. And they're talking about wireless sound that goes back to what they did in the 1927. You know, the pinnacle as in sound as Altec was. These products is nothing close in quality to what they did in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, or even 90s. So don't even give me that bullshit. So yeah, biggest downfall in the audio history is Altec Lansing. They take the first place.